everyone, it's Miss Smith. So what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about seasons and why we have seasons and what is happening to other parts of the world while we have a season going on. So let's get started. So we have this picture we saw yesterday. So we have the sun and we have the earth. So we have the sun and it is giving us sunlight. And we know when we have sunlight every single day, it is from their sun. And while we are getting sunlight, the earth is spinning. So we are rotating. And the earth moves in two different ways. The first way we're talking about right now, it rotates. So it has a stick kind of down the middle. It's an imaginary stick. It's not really there. But pretend there was a stick. And it rotates on its stick. So it keeps rotating and it rotates counterclockwise. So if a clock goes one way, the earth goes the other way. So the hands on a clock always go clockwise. So it would be the opposite way. So while we're on the earth, we don't feel it moving, but the earth is always moving. So what is happening is this earth is rotating on its axis. So for part of the day, we get sunlight. So we have daytime. The other part of the earth, though, it's not getting sunlight. So it's nighttime right now. Then when it becomes nighttime, the other way. So it's nighttime for us, so that people on the opposite side of the world would be having daylight. So when we're having one thing, people on the opposite side of the world are having another thing. Okay, our second way is moving. So we have the sun. We rotate around the sun. So our earth takes 365 days plus 1/4 of a day, so part of a day, to go around the sun. So every 4 years we have something called leap year, and we add an extra day in our calendar, so it counts for that 1/4 of a day. So while our earth is rotating this way, creating days, we have 365 days for it to go around one time, and that's 1 year. So at different parts of the year, the earth is in different locations of the sun. And the earth is tilted. So if you tilted your head, the earth isn't straight up and down. The earth kind of is like on a tilt. So that's why we have seasons. So we have our earth and we have an orange. And we have a line down the middle. And this line down the middle is called an equator. An equator is the middle part of the earth. Like if we cut the earth in half, it'd be having 1/2 and 2/2. So we have the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. And this line, it doesn't actually exist. It's imaginary, just like our axis was right here. So what's happening is in our northern hemisphere, we're going to have certain weather. And then in the southern hemisphere, we're going to have different weather. So it is cut into halves. So we have the North and the South Pole. And then this also is divided by the prime meridian. That's another name for it. Okay. When the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, the Earth's revolution around the sun receives more sunlight. During each time of the year, the northern hemisphere, around June 21st, it reaches its highest point. But so when one part of the Earth, so this is part of the Earth, this part of the Earth could be in a season, so it could be super hot outside. While part of the Earth is super hot outside, the other part of the world is going to be in a different season. So if we're in summertime, the other half of the world is going to be in wintertime. So the seasons that are really cold and hot, so when we have winter, it's summer on the other part of the world. Vice versa. If it's cold, it's hot there. And if it's hot here, it's cold there. Same thing. If it's cold here, it's hot there. And if it's hot here, it's cold here. So it's opposite. Okay, so for the seasons that are kind of the same, so spring and fall kind of feel the same. When it's spring outside, it's kind of like sweatshirt weather. We can walk outside and it's kind of cool. Same for fall. We can walk outside and it's cool. So that means that all of the weather all over the earth, where it's located and tilted at, it all feels the same. So if we're in spring, they're in fall. But if we're in fall, they're in spring. So it all kind of feels the same. But there are places like the North and the South Pole, they get tons and tons and tons, or not the North and South Pole, they don't get tons and tons and tons of sunlight. So we know the North Pole is known to be really snowy and cold. The South Pole is snowy and cold because on the top of the earth and the bottom of the earth, it doesn't get as much sunlight because of our tilt. But the middle part is always getting sun. So it's gonna either be really, really hot in the middle of the earth or really, really cold on that top and the bottom of the earth. Okay, so you guys are gonna continue learning about seasons, and in the next lesson, you guys are gonna learn about the cycle involving the 4 seasons and what and how each season brings it with an ever-changing landscape. Okay, so there's a little bit about seasons for you guys.